my Power 5. Now, one new person. Arizona lost, so I took them out of it.
Really?
Yeah, I said about win-loss last week. It's still early enough in the season that, like, towards the end of the season, it's not going to just be based on win-loss. I do think the eye test means something. But right now, undefeated. There's too many undefeated teams out there. I put Denver in there. Arizona fell out. I like the way their defense is playing. I think their defense is better than their offense, actually. I think by the end of the season, we really will be saying that. I think Peyton Manning, if they let him open it up, they can really roll on offense. They got Oakland this week. We'll talk about that. We'll see where the direction of this team's going. It's the playoffs that we always, we say that about so many teams, but Peyton Manning, that's when you know when he's going to be really good or really bad. That's when you find out. I got him number 5. I'm impressed with them.
We've really given them no love.
No, we haven't. They were honorable mention to me before the season, but I just thought that they fell off a tier, and their defense is better than I expected. And a lot of people said their defense was going to be good. I just didn't trust it because I didn't see it over the last couple years. I didn't trust it either. And Peyton, he didn't look so hot in the first game because the system, they kind of changed the scheme around to something that he likes to do.
He's not looking great. You can tell he's kind of starting, as much as neither one of us have wanted to say. You can kind of start to see some writing on the wall. He's kind of regressing a little bit. But the defense is just doing so much work that he doesn't have to be that Peyton Manning of old, throwing 400 yards a game.
He has a big run left in him. I don't know when that run is, but it's got to come in the next year or two. But he has a run left in him. So I don't think the tank is completely empty, but I'm with you. You can see how it's falling backwards. But that's why they went out and got a better defense.
And it's working tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely.
So number 5, I'm just going to stick with what I've been going with since last week. I'm going with the Bengals.
Yeah. They
look very impressive over the Chiefs, but I mean that's not saying a whole lot at this point because the Chiefs they can't protect Alex Smith whatsoever.
Right.
And that's all Cincinnati was doing is just going after him. And Andy Dalton, again, we keep saying this every single week, but he's just doing work. He's potentially by the end of the year we could be having MVP talks maybe.
Yeah. I said it that they always look the same year in year out until the playoffs. They're looking better than they usually do, so I think that again, I don't want to say that people are going to get fooled. I think people are going to jump on that wagon towards the end of the year if they keep playing in this direction. They're in my top 5. I have them at number 3. I like the way they're playing. Obviously, I mean
they're undefeated. They're in a very tough division.
Right, and they're making the plays when they have to. They played a couple close games, but they've also blown teams out to the. You know what I mean? Like that's what you want to see from powerful teams, from the best teams in the NFL. You want to see them win those games that they have to win, like close games that they have to win. But they're blowing the teams out that they should blow out.
Right. That's
what separates teams like that. My number 4 team, you're gonna hate this. It's moved up from number 5. The Carolina Panthers.
Just leave it now. I'm done.
But I picked the Panthers. I put them at number 4 because they did it again.
Wait, are you kidding me right now? Number 4. So wait, let's moonwalk back for a little bit. So you're telling me they're number 4. So you mean to tell me they're better than the Broncos? You mean it? So basically, what you're telling me right now is that the Panthers can beat the Broncos. Is that what you're telling me right now?
I think they can absolutely. I think they can absolutely beat. I don't know if they do, but I think they can. Yes.
Why?
I just think the way that Cam Newton's playing is very well. At their defense, I mean, Kuechly, if he's healthy, we're going to start finding out over time. They have a bye week coming up, so they're going to need that to get him healthy. But their schedule gets a little tougher. They start playing more playoff caliber teams, and I understand that against playoff caliber teams over the last couple of years, they haven't succeeded too well. They haven't looked amazing. But with Cam, he's making it happen himself. We stress on it. We stress that every week.
That's great.
I mean, I think Atlanta might be the better roster, and the way Atlanta looks, they might be the better team. But at the same time, Carolina's the champs, and just like I did with Dallas, I can't take the champs down until the champs get taken down. I can see Atlanta beating them this year, and hey, maybe that will convince me.
You know what?
Even the first game they play, but as of right now, I just think that Carolina has played really hot going back to the end of last season. They even played well into the play. But I think there is something to that sometimes, and I think that Carolina.
I think you're loving the fascination with Cam Newton is leading you to do this. Which, by the way, I need to get this on camera because we haven't yet. There's a misconception that I don't like Cam. I love Cam Newton.
Yeah.
But I am not on this high of Cam Newton and the Panthers like you are, and I think your fandom of him is what is leading this.
I don't know.
I think
the numbers are there to back it up, though. He was
11 of 22. Congratulations. That's not great. That's 50%.
As a passing quarterback, he's nowhere near elite. But that's because he's running the ball as much as he is their quarterback. They're finally starting to get different players in the running game, and when they do that, they will be way more successful. If they were defying logic and odds before. He was their best runner through his whole career, from the time he was a rookie to last year.
You're preaching to the choir. I understand,
but he made the playoffs twice. But that's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about the team, though.
All right, yeah, but the offensive line is good. You got to figure it out what's going on at wide receiver, but they're pasting it together somehow. You have to figure it out at running back, and your defense is solid. I'm just saying you have a good offensive line and a good defense, and a maintainable quarterback, a quarterback in the top 2 or 3 tiers. So that's 3 things that you need to do to succeed in the NFL. If you don't have those 3 things, you're not going to find yourself in the playoffs year in and year out. And I mean, they're 4-0, and you could say about their competition, but I think Atlanta,
say that all day.
But I think Atlanta, who might look better on paper. I mean, they played an Eagles team who ended up coming back on them, who can't find their offense half the time.
Right.
But an Eagles team that was their first week. They've played a Giants team who blew a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. They played a Dallas team without Tony Romo, and then they played Houston, who is rotating quarterbacks.
Yeah, they completely blew them out.
But their schedule isn't any better. And I know I said about Cincinnati blowing teams out and doing what they have to do, but I think the situation is a little different when it comes to Carolina because they're over-exceeding expectations.
Right. So you were talking about Atlanta. I mean, yeah, they blew out, the teams that they were supposed to blow out. They blew out the Texans. That's great. But the difference between
that's the only team they blew out. The other 3 teams they didn't blow out. Like I think they are legit. I think there's something going on.
I can't believe you just said that they're legit. Can we have this conversation when they got the Eagles?
Yes, they got
the Seahawks, the Eagles, the Colts, and the Packers. If they beat 2 of those teams, we can have this conversation.
I think they can beat the.
And you know what? We can take the Eagles out of that conversation.
Yeah, I think they can definitely beat the Colts and the Eagles. And
right.
Well, the Seahawks. It's a wild card. I don't think Seahawks are as strong as they were. And Green Bay is Green Bay. So you're right. We're going to have to figure out how they look against playoff caliber teams, as I said. But as of right now, I'm not taking them off the throne because they haven't not proved to me over the last. I'm going to stretch it back to 11, 12 games going into last season. They've looked extremely strong to me. I'm sticking with.
You know what? I have tolerated you putting him at number 5. The fact that you, and he, as y'all can hear, he actually is really fighting for. He loves Cam Newton.
I do, but.
You're really stretching something fierce. I mean, I kind of hear where you're coming from, but at the same time,
but it's not based on no merit. And I understand if they start falling, I get it. But they have the 3 things that I look for in a football team that I would like moving forward. They have to figure it out at the athletic positions.
But in a couple of weeks when we bring Carolina back up, and I'm just gonna say I told you so. You and Cam Newton need to get around.
So who's your number 14?
So number 4, I'm just going to stick with this divisional thing. I'm sticking with the Falcons.
We have the winner of that division right now at number 4 in our minds.
Right.
We can agree on
that. That's the only thing we're going to agree on is that one of us is right. That's my thing.
But
are you telling me that the Panthers are better than Atlanta?
Huh?
Are you telling me that the Panthers are better than Atlanta?
On paper, no. But I think that if they played head-to-head, I think Carolina could win the game, yes.
1 out of 2 or both? Because, I mean, you can say anybody can say a divisional game is going to split. I expect that
2 out of 3 won in the playoffs. I look at it this way. It's not like Matt Ryan has had crazy success in the playoffs as well. And coaching-wise, Dan Quinn, yes, he was the defense coordinator in Seattle, and he has been in those big moments. But he hasn't been in those big moments as a coach. He hasn't been the one to call the play on 4th down. He hasn't been the one to oversee everything. I do think that there is something to coaching in the NFL. I'm not saying Ron Rivera is anything special. I was never a believer in him.
He's not.
But there's something special.
He's decent.
But I think there's something. I think he's better than I ever give him credit for. He gets credit for in general, just because of how strong they have been over the last couple of years when they shouldn't have been.
They were talking about a couple of years ago he should be fired.
Right, and then they win 2 straight divisions and they're 4-0 this year. I mean, we're on the same page there. But I think this, like, the edges, like, if you were going back and forth, while I think Atlanta is the better team on paper, I just think the small things that you need to take care of through a football game as a football team, Carolina does, and I think they do it a little better. I mean, we haven't seen either of them play legitimate playoff teams.
No, we're not going to find out until they play each other. And honestly, you know what I think is going to happen? I think Atlanta's going to blow them out completely.
We'll see.
One of us is right, and at some point we're going to re-reference this very conversation. It's going to be a good talk.
Absolutely.
And when we find out I'm right, you can thank me.
Well, we said my number 3 team was Cincinnati. We already talked about them. So who's your number 3 team?
Number 3, I'm sticking with what I got. Green Bay.
Yeah, I have them at number 2 as we talked. They won the game. Their defense played spectacular, which we talked about. Their defense is strong.
It's better than what maybe I thought it was going to be. Yeah. I don't like it. It's more so it's more so that San Francisco's a freaking mess right now.
They're not the toughest team to play, so I
understand. They're soft. They're completely soft right now. Their entire team is soft.
Yeah, Kaepernick, not to like get off track quick, but Kaepernick, what is going? Do you think it's Kaepernick, or do you think does he have a future in this league? Let me put it that way.
Are we talking about as a starter, or you say future in this league? You mean does he have a job in the NFL?
Either.
I think he could be a. Oh damn.
The talent is there, but it just ends up. It just doesn't. If I really, something's not happening for him.
If I really break it down, I think he could be. If I really thought about it, I think he could be a starter somewhere. I think he will be afforded that one more opportunity. I feel like quarterbacks, they always get that one more chance where you can at least compete for a starting job. Ultimately, what I think is going to happen is that he's going to get cut or whatever this year. And then he's going to go into a situation where he has to compete, maybe with Oakland or some, franchises always having quarterbacks competing. Cleveland, an organization like that. But what's going to end up happening is the same thing.
Chip Kelly.
I don't want to talk about him, but there's a hashtag called Fire Chip Kelly for a reason, but we won't. Anyway, what I was getting at was I could see Kaepernick at some point, if he's not being in that role where he's competing on some scrub team or some scrub organization, I could see him being a legitimate backup. I would love for him to be a backup for, say, I don't know, Dallas. I could see him in that role. I could see him as a backup in Philly. Y'all don't have a quarterback. I could see him, Washington, Cleveland. I could, these types of dysfunctional second string or even first string situations. I can see him competing in those roles. So do I think he's going to be in the league? Yes. Is it going to be in San Francisco after this year? No, it will not.
Well, speaking of San Francisco, Harbaugh was the problem, obviously, right?
Yeah. You want to talk about having the last laugh?
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Coach, because you got out while the getting out was good.
Back-to-back shutouts in college.
Are you kidding me?
So, it's fun. It's
how stupid is San Francisco look? You know what? A couple years ago we were talking about San Francisco. They're going to be.
They could have been a dynasty. I was comparing them.
How'd that work out?
I thought they were going to be the actual successful version of the 2000 to 2000 whatever Eagles that Andy Reid and Donovan McNabb had.
Team?
Right? No.
Before the dream.
Before the dream team. Those teams that were going to consistent NFC championships because that's what they were doing. But then I used to always say that sometimes Colin Kaepernick looks like a poor man Donovan McNabb. So it kind of came full circle, and it came full circle a lot quicker than I expected to. I was never a believer in Kaepernick, but I think the talent is there. He
definitely has talent. I believe in him. I mean, I don't.
He ran a system extremely well, and he did everything that Harbaugh asked him to do extremely well, and it's definitely affecting him. But he was regressing last year, so I can't even just say it's just because of the coaching change that things have blown up. There's something not firing, not clicking. Either the stardom got to his head. I don't know, something.
Now they're rebuilding again.
Yep. All right. Now, so you said.
I said Green Bay number 3.
Yep, we both agree. I had them at number 2, but who is your number 2 team then?
Number 2 team, I don't care if they lost, and you can say what you want.
Wow.
I still believe the fact that the Cardinals are a legitimate team.
I think they're legitimate.
And I think they're a very good team. I still think that they're better.
Divisional games are hard. I think people give way too many credit to I was even giving credit to St. Louis, but to St. Louis for the way they matched up against Seattle a couple weeks ago. But in all honesty, when you play teams over and over and over again, you start to learn the tendencies. Sometimes one coach is just better than another, in certain situations or games. And their St. Louis coach Fisher, I mean, he's been around the block a couple times, so he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely,
exactly. But I still like Arizona. I mean,
you have to still like Arizona. They still have. Nobody's going undefeated here. Let's just get that out the way. That's the problem with a lot of our mindset as fans now
too. People just freak out.
Right, and that's why I still think they're the second best team in the league. I still think they have to be, and personally, I think they have to still be in the top 5 conversation because of Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
Because of what the defense has been able to do the first, at least the first 3 weeks. We can't just all of a sudden abandon ship just because they lost one game. It's going to happen. We can't do this from week to week to week, and that's what fans do.
It hurts because it's a divisional game, but if they take care of theirs the rest of the season and they get 1 or 2 against Seattle,
they could get it back.
Right, exactly. I mean, they're not. They still, as of right now, have a leg up on Seattle. And, hey, I mean, it doesn't matter how many weeks in the season. If you can say that, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
At number 1, we both agree. The bye week going in, they're going to play Dallas this week. We'll see what New England does. Tom Brady, I know it's heartbreaking. Don't worry, my birthday weekend, Tom Brady will be destroying the Eagles. So
that's so far from now.
I know.
I don't even know. I don't even know if I can watch football this week just because of the fact that I know it's coming.
It's a 4:25 game too.
I'm so
the whole world will be able to watch it.
Stop. You can stop right there. I'm just gonna have to not watch. I'm gonna have to cut off at 4 o'clock on the dot.
Thank you for watching. This is JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood. That's Dwight Garfield. You can find our Twitter @_JD Sports. Our personal Twitters will be there.
You can find our Facebook page and the information down below. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe for fresh weekly content. Stay tuned because the best is yet to come.